Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm live. Happy Saturday to everybody. Happy Sabado. We're gonna be a little bit more structured today. Yep. You we're just gonna everything don't have to be serious all the time. Like I come on here, I talk about serious things, and sometimes it's just good to let loose a little bit. Just talk about things that don't matter. But we're gonna talk about things that matter. Sure enough, though. Sure enough. Because at the end of the day, a lot of things matter that may seem insignificant. Like a lot of times we talk about celebrities and, we might say, like, what does it matter? Well, it matters because they have influence on how people think and the decisions that people make. So, we're going to touch on that a little bit. And my co-host has arrived, trying to let her in, unable to join. We'll see about that. Fight. I got a new setup. I got a new microphone and a new stand. Hey, what's going on? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I can't complain.
Cool. That's good. That's good. Somebody said I wasn't man enough for Sierra on your YouTube video. I think it was out of YouTube or Twitter. But
They said you weren't man enough?
yeah, they said I wasn't man enough to handle Sierra or whatnot.
What do you think
But
about that?
I don't think nothing about it. I mean, I didn't the lady that said it, I didn't come out of her and I ain't going into her. So her opinion don't really mean nothing to me.
I mean, it was a lady. I
Yeah.
mean, we typically tend to, like me, as you know, I always defend Russell, right? So, but women in general, they tend to stick up for Sierra. So, regardless of what the situation, like, she can't do no wrong to a lot of women's eyes. So,
Sierra's a horrible influence. And I think that most men, well, not most men, I don't like to speak for most people, but a lot of men, I don't even think a lot of men have a problem with Russell. I think a lot of men have a problem with Sierra because of the narrative that she's kind of propagating. That you can spin the block and then come around to the good guy and then he'll save you. And a lot of guys resent that. Me personally, I don't really care what people do in mass. Like maybe when I was younger, I would have been like, man, that's messed up. But now I really know that people's lives really don't have no bearing on mine. But I think that's what a lot of guys really take issue with, the fact that she's kind of like the poster girl for the chicks that can run the streets and then come and get saved and then they live happily ever after. But the problem is she's still acting like a hoe, twerking in public and wearing see-through dresses and all that. I mean, come on now.
but she has some really strong knees. Is she supposed to put her talent within her strong knees to waste?
I mean, she can play volleyball. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on now, like that. I know you're just playing. I know you're just playing.
I'm a little serious though. I am a little serious. Not in the sense of disrespecting Russell, because most of the time I'm really defending Russell, believe it or not. But she has some really strong knees. So
I have strong knees. You know, I mean, was it? Yeah, I had a 36-inch vertical when I was 14 years old. I mean, I got some super strong knees, but I mean, what difference? Hey, I'm just saying, this whole thing about over sexualizing people. She's somebody's wife, so
true.
she is causing people. I don't want to say to lust over her. I mean, that's so far fetched. I don't lust over her, but that's that's the whole concept of twerking. You're being sexually suggestive.
That's
And if
true.
you're somebody's wife, my wife, the only person she need to be twerking in front of is me.
That's
She twerking
true.
for somebody, I'm gonna kick on her butt and like kick her out the house. But
So
yeah,
as Sierra being a dancer, this I think maybe we could this will be a middle point. Sierra being a dancer, which nobody because she's not really a singer, she's a dancer. Like
she's an entertainer.
she's athletic and she's built for dancing and whatever. Should she use her dancing skills and her movement skills, so to speak, in a better because there's so many genres of dancing. It's not twerking is not dancing, right? Like or it's not in the art of dancing, right? So do you think maybe Sierra could practice, I mean, or utilize her dancing in a more presentable, more reasonable way?
I know a dancer really well, and she's super talented. She can do a lot of things, and sometimes she might bust a move, might twerk for like 2 seconds, but I mean that's not the main move of her whole dance routine. With Sierra, she just comes out twerking, and it's not even just the twerking. It's everything. It's just the whole attention thing. She's a horrible influence for young women. Even when she quote unquote won, she should be telling young girls, look, I know the quote unquote bad guys seem appealing and whatnot, but get you a good man that's gonna love you and take care of you. But what did she do? She said, "Oh, this goes to all my baby mamas out there doing whatever, whatever, and this and that."
You talk about her latest single for the single woman.
Yeah, 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 something like that. I don't listen to music like that. I hear little snippets and I get disgusted to just turn it off.
It's funny because when she made that song, I don't know if you've seen the feedback or the comments, whether on
Yeah.
YouTube or Instagram, but a lot of women actually checked her for that. They're like, how is it that you have Russell as a husband and you're a married woman and you guys reproduce together? You have a village of children right now, which is a beautiful thing. And you're talking about single woman. And so women did actually check her on that, which I mean,
Yeah.
that's in terms of society, that's a direction towards progress, right?
Yeah.
That's a positive.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not a manosphere dude. I don't cast all women in a certain light. Everybody's individual. I enjoy having conversations with people, even if they don't, agree with me. I was happy that I saw a lot of women, give her some hell, but it's just we live in a society where it's about the narrative. It's not about the truth. And the truth is, Sierra is Sierra. I mean, Sierra's a very beautiful woman. I used to have a big crush on Sierra. If I saw Sierra across, if I saw a chick that looked like Sierra walking across the street, I'd have to cross the street, in traffic and all that. You know what I'm saying? So she's a very beautiful woman. So what she did does not translate to most women because most women are not Sierra, you and even the whole pretty privilege thing. She's pretty in a realm of access. You understand what I'm saying? So like she's in a realm where she has a lot of access to a lot of people, a lot of men with resources and whatnot. You can be pretty out here on the streets and not have that same access. So I don't know. It's a lot. I don't think that she's a good influence on young women. She was pushing the jab. She
She
was at the.
did.
You didn't
She,
know that?
you know what? I have to admit, that was something that she did that pissed me off.
Oh, okay.
Let alone she took her children to the White House to go see Biden and Jill. That
Mm-hmm.
pissed me off.
Yeah.
And like I told you in our live last week, I did a video, uh, actually a year ago. Yeah, it was during Black History Month, literally a year ago, when I was saying why do people call Russell a simp? And when he was losing playing football, it was like people were like, it was like when he was in his winning season the year before, people weren't really loud. But then when he started losing last year in his football season, people were just coming at him, right? And I was defending him. And then, was it the Grammys? It was one of those awards last year. And then after I'm defending him and saying he's a good man and he loves children and he's stepping up as a father and all those things, that's when she went to the awards and she wore that see-through dress and she just it just
Yep.
it just
Showing her goodies.
yeah.
You know. But
I have to ask you this: in the long haul, do you think they're going to last?
no, I think she's gonna leave him.
After he done bought her masters and
Hey, I done had some cold-hearted women in my life, and if she's gonna leave him. Well, look, God forbid that happens. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope she really loves him. I hope she really respects him and all that. But she doesn't move like somebody that is, in it for the long haul.
you don't think so?
Poor. She seems like she seems like that the guy she really wants is not him. And
it still seems to be Future, right?
well, I don't know. You know what's funny? I think Future's a simp. Straight up,
Really?
I think he's a simp. I think he's lame. I think he's a lame ass simp. At least Russell was just a simp. Like Future's a lame simp. All that lying and talking about the mollies and all that. He don't even do all that. He's not from the streets. He grew up, with didn't he from a two-parent household?
Future?
Yeah.
Or that's a good question.
Yeah, I think he's Clarence. He's Clarence from 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Clarence had
The one that
parents.
Eminem dissed.
Yeah, and Clarence parents have a really good marriage. I think that's Future.
Mm-hmm.
But and if it isn't, I don't know. But I
Wow.
think that the way he's handled this whole thing with Sierra, always taking shots at Russell and this dude made a whole song and a video about how he wants Sierra back. That's some weak ass shit to me. Just my opinion. But
You know what's so funny? I've gotten asked the question because I've had debates with people, like whether Facebook or in person and stuff, and I'm always defending Russell. And I've been asked the question, "Hey Lydia, would you date a Russell?" Now I have to admit I don't have a type when it comes to men. So I've dated street guys, I've dated good guys, whatever. So
that's a problem that you don't have a type.
It probably is. It probably is. Why is that a problem?
Because you got to be very discriminate when it comes to who is coming into your life. You got to be very discriminatory.
Well, I think, well, right now my type in a man is, well, it's kind of always been the same in terms of I like manly man, I like handy men, I like men that could lead. And I told you in the last live, I like wholesome men. I don't really care for a rich man. Not saying that I'm not clocking anybody's bank account anyways, right? That's not my place to clock a man's bank account. But I do like wholesome men. But physically, I don't have a type. Like I don't like black, white, light skin, dark skin. And people used to always say that to people that knew me personally, like, Lydia, you don't have a type. Because even when I was a pro-black nationalist, I exclusively dated black men. But even though I dated black men, I didn't care. Is he dark skin? Is he brown skin? Is he light skin? But that's physical. That's physical. So that I never, but now fast forward, like I don't discriminate against anyone. So, but I know I have a type as in I want a man that loves God, he walks in his faith. I have more of a definition or a understanding of what I like now. And I've been single for 3 years, so I better know what I want now as opposed to what I've dealt with in the past. But I've been asked, hey, Lydia, would you deal with Russell? I said, or a guy that's like Russell. And I answered, yes, I would deal with a guy like Russell. But my question is, would Russell treat me as good as he treats Sierra? Or would he treat me as good as he treats his ex-wife? I don't know if you know the story about him and his ex-wife, but I think she cheated on him
with his teammate. With his team. She
Hmm?
cheated with his teammate.
She cheated with his teammate. So that's why I asked the question. I don't mind. I would date a guy like Russell Wilson, but would he treat me as good as he treats Sierra or his ex-wife that cheated on him? That's the real
He
question.
would.
Because I know myself to be a good woman and I'm loyal and I'm faithful, so that's not a problem. So would he treat me good, or
I
would
think
I be his priority, so to speak?
I think he would. I think Russell was just a genuinely good guy.
I
You
think so
know,
too, and I think that's why I defend him a lot. I think he's genuinely a good guy. I think he genuinely means well, and I think he's the type of guy, not necessarily just in relationships, but I think Russell Wilson is genuinely a guy that does good deeds when nobody's looking. In my
yeah,
opinion, I feel that in my gut.
yeah. I think that too. I think that Sierra is just. I think she's just different. They're just different. They're different, and everything she does is fake. I just that's just what I see, and I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but it is what it is. So, but anyway, what we cooking today?
So we're gonna talk about, do men really prefer women with BBLs and surgeries and the cosmetics and everything in that retrospect? That we got carried away with Sierra and Russell. But you know what? This is all about the dialogue of man and woman. So it kind of all folds in. And then after we talk about, do men prefer women with BBLs and surgeries and all that stuff, and then we'll fold into, Kiki Palmer and Darius Jackson. So it all folds in one way or another.
Okay, cool, cool. All right, so what do you think? What do you think that men like aesthetically? Just aside from the BBL, aesthetically, what do you think most men like?
Well, I'll jump in from a southern perspective. Like when I go south and I see southern men, they just love women. They don't care if she has
Yeah.
the fat ass, or even like, let's say maybe her ass might not be the fattest, but she has like big titties or whatever, and her ass might not be the fattest or whatever, but they just love women. Southern men,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, they just love women,
Yeah.
and then, but then when you think of it like nationwide, America at least, right, or the United States or whatever, um, it's crazy. Yeah, they men do like women with surgery and BBLs and all that stuff.
You honestly believe that?
Yeah, but it also intermingles with the hypersexual culture, and being that that's the culture in terms of like popularity and stuff, it's there, it's easy access and it's available. But I've seen men like date women with BBLs and they like use them for money, and I just be laughing and I'd be like, oh, okay, shit, go ahead, do what you want, because she doesn't respect herself, she doesn't respect what God gave to her. So why do you have to respect her as a man? And it's just something when it comes to this BBL thing, and cosmetic surgery or breast implants, or the whole, just anything that a woman does to alter her body, it's deceit, it's catfish, and it goes away from how God created you. So whether it's in the flesh, whether it's spiritual, it's wrong.
So why do you think that men overall prefer BBLs or the whole surgery thing? Why do you think? Why do you? Why is that? Why are you of that opinion?
I don't think that they necessarily prefer that. I don't know. The way I've come to know men, it's on the basis of to each his own. So, like I said, the Southern men, they love natural women, right? She doesn't necessarily have to have the fattest ass, but the Southern men, they just love women. But there's this whole, that's the image constantly being put out. You figure over the past decades, we have black women that are naturally voluptuous, right? Then you have like Hollywood, when it came to the trends of everything, their original standard, whether it's Next Top Model or anything like that, was, oh, we want our women to be slim, slender, petite, with a little bit of height to them, to meet the criteria to be an America's Next Top Model, or to meet the Hollywood standard, so to speak. But then over the years, like around what, 2006, 2007, when Kim Kardashian and Ray J's sex tape was leaked out and everything like that, Kim Kardashian, when she had that shape, and mind you, Kim Kardashian is beautiful, and she's little. Kim Kardashian is little, and guys like that, right? So when Kim Kardashian displayed the thick body and the fat ass, and it was very seamless too, because I remember at that time back in 2006, 2007, there were a lot of people asking like, "Hey, is that her natural shape?" And then there were pictures at that time roaming around on the internet of how she looked when she was younger, and they were like, "Oh, she's exotic. What is she? Oh, she's Armenian. She's not really white," and all those things. So people were trying to make it seem like because she had a little flavor, her ass might have been natural. And so basically, it was too much when the black woman had the voluptuous shape, the thick thighs, the big hips, and the fat ass, and everything like that. But then when Kim Kardashian came along, it was nice and whatever. And then I don't know, we're here, but I'm not gonna blame her. If she's beautiful or whatever. But then
She average.
huh?
She's average to me.
You not that attracted to Kim
Yeah,
Kardashian?
she is average.
You think so?
Yes, she is very like.
Out of the Kardashian sisters, are you one of those guys? Because I know every guy has a different preference. Do you think Courtney is the prettiest? And when we say Kardashian, I mean technically Kardashian would be Courtney and Kim, and Khloe, as we know, is not a Kardashian because her mother was loose or whatever.
She's.
But are you one of those guys that think that Courtney is prettier than Kim? Because some guys think that Courtney is prettier than Kim, and that's just preference based.
Let me look at Courtney. Golly, they all regular to me. Like
Duncan says we prefer natural.
Duncan is correct.
So why don't y'all act like it? Not saying you and Duncan personally, but collectively as males, why don't y'all act like it?
I don't know what y'all want from us. Like, I mean, because what? How do we have to show it?
Well, there's so many layers to that, right? Because as I said, the women getting their bodies done, most of the time they're doing it in comparison to other women. And as you know, women just naturally have a catty nature and they're always in competition. So that's one element with women, right? But then within the hypersexual culture, a whole is a whole.
They're in competition with other women, right?
Mm-hmm.
In competition for what?
It's funny because they're giving men no choice but to, hey, this is what I'm serving you, so you get what you get. And I understand that from a male's perspective, but they're really competing with other women in the sense of whose ass is fatter than the others. That's really what that is.
They're competing with other women for what? Because in the competition, it's implied that there's a prize that you
Like
get.
if I'm a woman and my ass is fatter than yours, I'm gonna get more attention from the man.
So that's what it's.
Or women will look at me on a high pedestal because my ass is fatter than yours. That's just from a female's perspective.
So they're competing for attention from women as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, then how are y'all putting it on men?
No, I can't put it on men because like I just said a little while ago, that's what's put on the platter. That's what's put on the plate. So men are getting what they can get. But there is a such thing as there's a whole nother dynamic of, let's say a man is dating or he's in a relationship or he's married to a woman. She just so happens to be natural. And then if he cheats on her with a woman that gets her BBL or breast implants or whatever, right? That automatically goes into the physical aspect of things, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that he cheated on her because she got a BBL or she got surgery or whatever. But as a woman, from a woman's perspective, the woman is going to automatically think it's just like if a man cheats on a woman, all surgery and BBL aside, right? And a woman looks at your Facebook, your Instagram, like, who's this other woman that he cheated on me with? Or who's this other woman he's liking and loving her photos and all those things? A woman's going to go on her profile, look up all her pictures, and, oh, is she pretty? That's the first thing a woman wants. Like, is she pretty? That's the first thing, right? And then if she looking at her ass and or her breast and she see like she got a BBL, that's a whole nother element. And if that BBL, even like if she got a BBL and she's average looking, but she has a BBL. Let's put it like that. That right there is the woman, because we're emotional creatures as women. So she's just gonna think like, damn, that's why he's cheating on me with her. So, and the natural woman, let's say she probably has a medium ass size, just right, nothing too big. Her breast, she's probably a B cup or a C cup, nothing too big. Then, and these women that experience these situations, somewhere down the line, they tend to get their bodies done because of that as well. So,
you know what's funny? The girls with the BBL can't keep a man if their life depended on it.
No, because they lack character.
So
They play with how God created them, and that's a very spiritual thing, and that coincides with your soul.
So what is, if you know that, then what is it that makes y'all think that men cheat for physical reasons? Because we don't. I'm gonna tell you right now, men do not cheat for physical reasons.
How do men not cheat for physical reasons if the biggest form of cheating is having sex with another woman, and that's very physical?
That's not cheating in my book.
Well, you know what? I can't. You know what?
Oh, like,
explain, please.
I wish more men were here, like, for real.
Explain, please.
All right, so if you talk to older men that have been married a long time, right? There are some that are very respectable men, and you ask them when you get them by themselves, and you know it's only a man to man thing. You're like, cause the thing is, now don't call Dr. Umar. He's not here. He is not welcome here. I'm gonna run him off. Like I don't go for all his shenanigans and his hotep magic. I don't go for all that.
You know what's so funny? I actually love Dr. Umar. No, like no matter what phase of my life that I'm in, I love Dr. Umar. I wish I could get him over here to Connecticut to do like some comedy or stand up, like have him like at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport or something, because I don't know if it's just me, my type of sense of humor, but Dr. Umar is hilarious to me.
I bet he likes white women.
I bet you he does behind the scenes.
Yeah,
talking about some what's his quote? What's his saying? Black queens forever, nobody's never.
No,
that's his. But I bet you put a nice, beautiful white woman in front of him.
Nah, Dr. Umar, his motto is, if it ain't snowing, I ain't going. That's deep down inside. Deep down inside, that's his motto. but okay, so back to.
You know I'm enrolled in his school, right?
You said what?
I said, you know I'm enrolled in Dr. Umar's school. I've been enrolled ever since January 6th. You know that, right?
You need to drop out. You need to drop out. Like going back to public school. Learn a bunch of lies and nothing that's going to help you in life.
My major is Pan-Africanism.
Scam Africanism. But see, Duncan threw me off with Dr. Umar. I appreciate that, brother. But all right, so men, right? All right, so an older man, you ask an older man, a young man comes to an older man, he be like, how did you do it all these years? How did you stay married? And then the older man will say straight up, he'll say something like, man, I had a little thing on the side, that, when the wife was tripping, I would just go over there and, get my piece. And then I just come home, because
how is that not physical?
You didn't hear what you gotta look at the why. You gotta look at the causative factor.
So that is mental and emotional.
Sex is 90% mental. Talk to any man having marital issues. He's gonna say he is not attracted to his wife. I promise you.
Because he's married and they're down the line with it, or even to begin with?
No, I'm talking about a man and a woman having mental issues. I mean, having marital issues. And the man is irritated, he is not going to be turned on by his wife. The presence of his wife is going to turn him off. When a man is on his way home from work and he's dreading going home because he knows when he goes home, he's going to have no peace. There's no way he's going to be sexually aroused. She can be butt naked and she can have an hourglass shape and all that. But you know, he's just not going to be turned on. And I get it.
That filler that he's getting from the other woman, obviously the sex is his sex, right? And I'm going into what you're saying. What is it that he's getting from the other woman besides the sex?
Respect first. He's getting respect. She listens to him. She cares about what he's going through. It's hell when you're going through something and you express it to your woman and she comes off as she does not care. You know, you're telling her something and she might care, because I really do believe that women do care about their husbands, but they have delusions about what he needs. So naturally, men don't really express their feelings. So when you express your feelings in front of your wife, that's like getting butt naked in front of her and she going, ugh, what the hell is wrong with that? You know, and you do that, you know, you violated that man. You know, when you express yourself to a woman and she makes it about herself, that is a huge turn off. So he's gonna go somewhere where he feels like he's cared about. This thing about sex, anybody can have sex, right? Anybody. I can be married and I can go pay a hooker to have sex. But a husband and a wife are supposed to be intimate. You know what intimacy looks like? Just let me make sure I'm not ashy. All right, intimacy looks like this, right? You got two become one.
Equally yoked.
That's what intimacy looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And intimacy starts before sex and continues after sex. Intimacy starts with communication. Once the breakdown in communication happens, there's no more intimacy. You're just screwing each other. And, you know, that gets old.
When a man steps out for that reason, is he right for doing that? Is it justifiable?
All right, I don't want to make any jokes because this is a serious issue. I don't want to make any jokes. This is a very serious issue. Well, when you say is it justifiable, by whose standards, mine or God's?
Both.
Both. Okay, let's start with me. Yes, and now let's go with God. All right. So, what is a wife's duty to a husband? What is a wife's duty to a husband? He said,
while being equally yoked.
Duncan, I want you to holler at me sometime, man. We still got to talk, man. Like, it's all love between you and I, even though we disagree or something. But anyway, go on, pretty lady.
While you're being equally yoked with your man, you're supposed to be there with him. He's supposed to be able to confide in you, have comfort with you. Like you said, you're supposed to be 50-50, which makes you a solid 100. And listen to him, let him confide in you, let him be vulnerable with you the way that he can't be vulnerable with the world. Because when he steps out the door and he's in the world, it's the real world. You know, he has to bust his ass, he has to provide, he has to do all these things for you. So as a woman, you should definitely be there for him. Even if you go through things as a woman, it doesn't mean that you have to put your emotions to the side or forget about yourself. You have to take care of yourself first and be solid and wholesome. I always use that word wholesome, as you know. But yeah, be there for your husband, be there for your man. Talk to him, listen to him, and don't let society influence you. Just be solid and whatever's between you and that man is between you and that man.
So lawfully, you're bound to him, correct?
Yes.
Lawfully, you're bound to be faithful to only him, correct?
Yeah. I'm
Okay, yeah, you kind of hesitate.
laughing because you don't you because if I ask you what if he cheat, because we're already talking about the man cheating right now, right? So it's like
Well, cheating,
the double
cheating is
standard.
it is a
That's
double
where that's
standard.
the I mean, I'm faithful, and I believe that woman should be faithful. Don't get me wrong. But I'm laughing because of everything you just said. I'm not laughing because of how I feel.
It's a double standard, but we already talked about that last week about with the whole finger and stuff like that. But so
Lalo and Lamiko said communication is key. She's absolutely
yeah,
right. That's like
communication.
that's everything.
90% of communication is listening, though. A lot of people don't understand that. But
Are women good listeners and on a large scale?
on a large scale, are women good listeners? These days, no, not our generation, not our generation, because I think a lot of women have a delusion about what marriage is. I really do believe that. She said, yes, women are good listeners. Okay, well, I'm not gonna argue with you, but
So so when a man cheats on a
well, hold on,
woman with a BBL, because the whole essence of this is the woman with BBLs and
hold on,
surgeries
hold
and
on. I gotta finish what I was saying about men. All right, so we gotta ask ourselves if a man cheating is so wrong, why did God make it okay for his king to have more than one woman? And why did God put a provision in the law of Moses that if you're going to take another wife, that you got to do this, that, and this and the other for her? Why is that? That's what. And I'm not asking you to answer that. I'm just asking. And I know you said you're on a spiritual journey, and I don't know if you're as well versed in the Bible as I am, but
no, you're more knowledgeable. You're way more knowledgeable than I am. And just like you told me last week, go through the Old Testament to get to the New Testament. And I'm baptized Orthodox, right? Like I was telling you in the last live last weekend. That's how I should be doing that, even if you didn't tell me that. So you're very much more knowledgeable than me in that area.
yeah.
So
So what I'm trying to get at is, if it's so wrong for the man to do it, why did God make provisions in His law to to make things right? And look, just being 100% transparent, I don't think that men should have more than one woman. And naturally, most men, and I will say most men, naturally, most most men of good character only want one woman. But you never know how things are until you step into situations. When you have that one woman that you just want for yourself, and she's driving you crazy, she's gonna push you away to where you can get what she's not providing you. And that happens a lot in marriage, and a lot of times it's not addressed that the women are not on their job. There's a song back in the day. It's called "The Cleanup Woman,"
mm-hmm.
and you know it, it's talking about the cleanup lady
It's
caught this.
about everything we're talking about. That's by the cleanup
Yeah,
woman by Betty Wright. She's
yeah,
my
yeah,
favorite. I know that because Betty Wright it's between Betty Wright and Aretha Franklin. They're my favorite
yeah,
singers of all time. So,
yeah,
but that's by Betty Wright.
yeah,
So she's
yeah.
talking about everything you just talked about right now. Like you'll be home with your man, and as a woman, if you don't fulfill your deeds, the cleanup woman, she's gonna come right up after you and fix and clean and tidy everything up if you don't. So yeah,
She's tough.
it's a wonderful song.
She really cleans
Mm-hmm.
up. That's what it is. But but yeah, so that happens a lot in marriage, and it needs to be addressed. I think women in our generation, they have this false perception about what marriage is, and I think that men need to do a better job of they need to do a better job of phrasing things, how they convey their message, because we all know the old saying, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. you be firm with what you say, but there has to be some tenderness in there, because women are fragile. That's why it says that women are it says the weaker vessel. It's really just the more fragile. It doesn't say women are the weaker vessel. It says handle her as she is the weaker vessel. That's what it says. It don't say that she's weaker vessel. But y'all are just fragile. Y'all will shatter, especially if y'all's emotions are involved. I mean, just a man's tonation can just set y'all off, and y'all won't even understand why y'all are upset. It's a mess, but and that's why I say that a man should only have one woman, because it takes so much work to learn a woman and
Exactly.
and to get to know her. That takes a lot of work. They said they tough as nails. No, they're not. They're not tough as nails. They're just prideful. They're egotistical. Like women today have egos beyond anything I've ever seen playing sports. I don't think women are as tough as I'm so cute. I appreciate that. No, I'm playing. Now they talking about you. They say you're so cute.
Oh, thank you. But so what about the man that cheats on the woman with a BBL? What's that centered around? What's that all about?
It has nothing to do with the physical. Most of the time. I'm not saying all of the time, but most of the time it has nothing to do with the physical. Absolutely nothing.
So, in a nutshell, do men prefer women with BBLs, or do men prefer women that are natural?
Men prefer women that are natural.
Why is that?
Because that's what we start with. In junior high, when women start going, breasts and all that, ain't nobody looking for the chick with that puts balloons in her bras and newspaper stuffs her bra with newspaper. Don't nobody care about that. We start with natural. Like God, it's innate in us. It's inherent in us. Like God put it in us to desire a woman, regardless if she has a fat ass or big breast or all that. I've seen women that I wouldn't touch with a 20-foot pole get married. And
wait, what about the 20-foot? Wait, say that again.
I've seen women that I would not touch with a 20-foot pole, because they're not aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. But I believe with all my heart that God put it in every woman exactly what she needs to attract a man. Every woman will attract a man. Every woman. It doesn't matter how unattractive I think she is. Somebody is knocking on her door and will love her. And God put it in y'all. It's a beautiful thing when you just sit back and look at life. Y'all have everything y'all need, and it's funny because the women that go under the knife and get all this stuff done to themselves, they make themselves less attractive. All these lip injections and all these nose reductions and it just look fake. I don't know.
I remember about 2 years ago, I posted on my Instagram stories that when going into what you're saying about the lip injections and the altering of the looks and everything like that, I posted how women, when they do this, like the over excessiveness of makeup, the lip fillers and so on and so forth, they look like transgender women. They don't look, the men that dress up like women, excuse me, they look like men that dress up like women. They don't look like the natural element of a woman. And I shared that on my stories, but yeah, like about 2 years ago. But I've also, even on Facebook a couple of years ago or what have you, I've been talking about that as well. That when these women are doing these things, you figure, I just mentioned a little while ago, Black women were naturally voluptuous, and the natural voluptuous shape that Black women had didn't meet the standard of Hollywood. It didn't meet the standard of America's Next Top Model. But then you have somebody beautiful like Kim Kardashian. She comes through. She's small. See, the thing is about Kim Kardashian, a lot of guys like her. Let's say hypothetically if Kim Kardashian didn't get her ass done or whatever. She's small. And guys like that. Not to sound like, I'm not talking about little girls or whatever. I'm saying guys like small women or petite women or something along those lines. So guys do like that. But whatever the case, like I said a little while ago, it was when Kim Kardashian got her ass done, did all these things, and she kind of set the standard of, okay, now Hollywood is accepting towards, you can have fat ass or whatever, or now America's Next Top Model, they no longer require a woman to be minimal 5'7" or 5'8". Now they're like, oh, okay, you can be 5'4", 5'5", and all those things. But anyways, woman, and that's what I'm saying. Black women were naturally voluptuous, and they're getting surgeries. And then you have Kim Kardashian, she comes along the way, but now it's acceptable. But then women, going into what you're saying, and a lot of Southern men in general, they love natural women. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know Southern men, like, they don't care. You don't have to have the fattest ass. You don't have to have the biggest breast. They just love the natural essence of a woman. And women are altering their looks, looking like transgenders. That's a problem. Like, the transgenders are trying to look like us as women. Or there were people that tried to look like voluptuous women with the fat ass, and in reverse, you try to look like them when you already have the natural goods. It's very ironic, and it doesn't make sense. But yes, I think women that overly have makeup, get their fillers, lip injected, enhancement, all these things, they look like transgenders. So, and I've been saying it before, I'll say it again, I don't know, just is what it is, and it's crazy.
Well, y'all let these weirdos in the door. Like, men have been saying for forever, like, we ain't down with that. And then y'all be like, well, are you trying to be such and such phobic and all that? And you get chastised for having a certain standard, and it's so I blame women. I blame women for letting these weirdos in the door. But
oh yeah, it's okay to blame women. Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with a man having a standard. Like, there's men out there like, oh, I like my woman to be slim and petite. Like me, I'm thick. I'm naturally thick, right? I'm not every man's type, especially with my body type or whatever. Like I told you a little while ago, there are guys that like skinny, petite, slim woman or whatever. I'm not every man's type. So I'm not going to take it personal or whatever, because there's women out there, they say they want a 6-foot man. That's her preference, just like he has a preference. So I think it's okay for people to have preferences.
Well,
so I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Well, I'm asking this though. Why did you say that black women are naturally voluptuous, and then it was only acceptable when Kim Kardashian did it? Like acceptable to who? Like, who is setting these beauty standards that we're all supposed to be abiding by? That, because if you ask me, I'm like, my childhood crush was Tyra Banks when she was on The Fresh Prince. I thought she was so fly. I thought she was just like fine. And she wasn't just all she just wasn't showing like her figure all the time. I just thought she was fly.
Ah, so you have a little pattern there. So earlier you said if you seen a woman that looked like Sierra, you probably crossed the street. And now you're saying Tyra Banks. So do you like the slim, petite, tall woman?
I like athletic. I like athletic. Well, I'll say this. I'm not gonna. I don't want people that watch. I don't want anybody watching this to think that they have no chance. I like all women that like. I've dated women across the spectrum. Short, tall. Petite. I'm not full figured. When you say full figured, I mean like obese, or like thick. I've dated some real, nice shaped women, that were not petite, or I wouldn't count as athletic. But I don't know, just from a kid, like I always liked athletic girls. I don't know why. And it's funny, like I've only like dated like two in my life that were just like athletic. But
It happens like that.
yeah,
It happens like that.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's just life. Like you have guys out there that they done dated beautiful women, but they always get the mediocre woman that's not even their type knocked up. They get them pregnant. Like the chick that's not their type, the chick that they didn't love. Life happens like that, and people should understand that you might have a preference, but you might not always end up with your preference because everything is not about looks. So, and that's I think we all have to come to terms with that and understand that for what it is.
Yeah, I think that that happens because a lot of men are not intentional about their pursuit. If at this, I learned, I learned in my early 20s to not just shoot at every woman that I see. That I learned to only talk to the women that I really see myself with, because if I shoot at a woman just randomly, she might really like me, and now I let her on, and it's just not, it's not right. So I think a lot of men need to be more intentional about who they talk to. Position yourself around the things that you like. My dad always used to tell us when we were growing up, don't hang around the things that you don't like, because you're gonna end up liking them, or they're gonna end up coming to you. So and that's why I was saying like arranged marriages and stuff like that. Because you know, I just really believe that. I think that we should. I don't think this vetting process that we do is efficient. People should be pre-vetted for us. So it's like, even now, like my mom, sometimes she'll send me pictures of women. I'm like, Mom, like, ugh, I don't like, I don't like her. And
Why
I'll
is she
be,
doing that? Are you single?
yeah, I'm single right now, and she
So
wants,
she's just like, oh, I gotta get my baby a
yeah,
woman and just
yeah. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know why she thinks I need her help getting women. Like, I don't get it. But it's like, if I see if I see a woman that I like, that within the community, I'm gonna be like, hey, who is that? Who's that woman? And they'll be like, who? And I'm like, that one right there. I was like, go find out the 411 on her. Go see, which household she came from. Just let me know like what's up with her. That's what I mean by arrange. Like, I don't just mean like I don't know. I don't just mean by like, two people are forced together, but more so facilitated marriages. That's a more appropriate term or concept for what I'm suggesting for society. But
yeah. I still have to go in depth of arranged marriages with you and Tommy Sotomayor. So, and it's funny that you both. I don't know if it's for just simply the male perspective or if that's too simple to say that, but I mean, I think that, and I don't know if I'm just being, like I said, I've been single for 3 years. So I think that if I have an arranged marriage with a man, it's because it's going to be through God. It'll be spiritual. So
well,
I'm not on Hindu style where I'm just,
that's a part of it. It's sin for a believer to marry an unbeliever. That's sin. And even if you look in the Old Testament, this is why it's so important to understand the Old Testament, so you'll appreciate what the New Testament is saying. In the Old Testament, God told the children of Israel, when they go into the promised land, do not mingle with the people that are in the land. He said that they're going to pretty much turn you out, and they're going to turn you against me. They're going to turn you to other gods that take child sacrifice, that do all these wild
polygamy.
sexual
Yeah.
orgies and all that stuff, all those
Mhm.
abominations. you know so it's not that God was a racist or whatnot. He was just trying to get his people to abide by a certain standard.
Oh, he was
And
conservative.
you said what? Was God
Conservative.
conservative? Is that what you're asking me? I don't know.
That's what that's. That's what that sounds like, because the biggest element of conservatism, conservatism is not politics. It can intermingle, but conservatism is to reserve. It's to keep something, whether it's national. Like I just posted the other day about nationalism, reproducing with your own ethnicity, whether you're black, white, Latino, etc.
Yeah.
Conservatism is to reserve. That's the simple meaning of conservatism. So was that God's plan in that?
God, God wanted to conserve righteousness and order within society so it can eventually spread throughout the whole world. When God told Adam and Eve, be fruitful and multiply and refill the earth, when they failed to do that and God brought up, the flood happened and it wiped out all of mankind. That's the same thing he told Noah. He said, be fruitful and multiply and refill the earth. Because Noah was righteous. He was a righteous man. So God wanted righteousness to dwell in the earth. And so when we intermingle with people that do not have our same values,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Even in the Bible, it's described as being a thorn in the flesh.
I agree. I mean, not that I agree, but we see it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as we grow, as we get older, just anyone in general, you've had your previous relationships and it just didn't work out. And I think 2020 was the blueprint for everyone. Like, we seen divorces, family members broke out with one another, friendships torn apart, or all these things in 2020. And the foundation of that was, like, this man and this woman have been married for 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 20 years. But one of them was voting for Biden, one of them was voting for Trump, or one of them was pro-mask mandate, and the other one wasn't. And one of them was all about you can teach your children sex in school, and the other one wasn't. They were just direct polar opposites. And the thing about being in a relationship is you can be different from one another, and I tell people all the time. Like, I remember this guy messaged me back in 2016. He said that he's a Muslim and his wife is a Christian. He said, can we make it work? I said to him, you said no?
Mm-mm.
I said to him at that time, this was back in 2016, I said to him, if you guys have the same moral compass, if you guys not necessarily have the same goals, meaning you have the same career, because that's not common for a man and woman to be together because they have the same career. But if you have the same foundation, if you have the same morals, values, and principles, it can work. And if you feel like, as I said, if you feel like Islam is the right way, because I told you last week I don't discriminate against anybody's religion, even though I was baptized into Christianity. But I said to him that if you feel like Islam is the right way, show her the right way. But his wife was, I don't want to use the word stubborn, but she's a Christian, and he was complaining that she wants to stay in Christianity. And maybe she's right. Maybe not to say I understand that the man is a leader, but maybe she's right. But I was saying that as long as you have a foundation of morals, values, and principles, everything, like, it's okay for, like, in a relationship, it's okay for, okay, he's athletic and she's not, but she better take care of her body though at the same time. Or he's extrovert, she's introvert, vice versa. He's this way, she's that way. Those type of differences are okay, but your moral compass is the foundation. That's the yoke that has to be equal. You have to be equally yoked in your morals, values, and principles as a man and a woman. If you don't have that, it's gonna fail. And if people didn't understand that before, they should have understood that by 2020. All these divorces, all these friendships, the politics, the difference in beliefs, and maybe you're right. I guess religion differences as well. Everything came to a head in 2020. So if you don't realize that, whoever's in a relationship, but again, again, you could be an introvert and she could be extrovert. You like to go outdoors, she doesn't. You like to climb mountains, she doesn't. That that's okay. Those differences are okay because that's the segment of opposites attract. But again, like I said, if you have the same morals, values, and principles, and you have the same beliefs, not necessarily religion, but just day to day, then it's gonna work. If not, it's not gonna work.
Well, see, here's the thing with that. In theory, it sounds cool, but life is not theoretical. That's the problem. And when when it comes to preference, I really don't care what my woman's preference is. You know, if my favorite color is red. If her favorite color is blue, then that's fine. We decorate the house blue. I really don't. I mean, that's of no consequence to me. But like you said, your morals and values have to coincide. You know, they have to be the same because when you have a passionate disagreement, both parties have to humble themselves to something. Now, this is where conservatives in the political realm kind of like get messed up. When it comes to morality, where does morality come from? Who sets the standard of morality? Because a lot of times people will get into the whole discussion of, well, your right is not my right. Who's to say that what you're saying is immoral? Who is the arbiter? That's what some people will say. So, you know, this concept about religion that we all have, you know, we say that you can be a good person, you can have your values and whatnot, but you know, you can also have that aside from your religion, and it's not true. Well, this is my opinion. It's not true because everything we do, we we yield to something. I'm a Christian, and being a Christian is all about yielding to God's will. Now, somebody can call themselves a Christian. They may be a good person and all that, but they're yielding to their own conscience. Whereas a true believer is yielding to the will of God. Because when something, the problem is when what seems right is in opposition to God's will, are you going to do it? Now, a real believer is going to do it. You know, I mean,
They're not
when
gonna do it.
when what seems right is in opposition to God's will, a true believer is not going to do it. Now, when you are your own moral compass, when something seems right, when something when the right thing is in opposition to what you believe is right and what's wrong, you're gonna go with yourself. And that's the problem when two people of different convictions get together. Your convictions got to be the same when it comes to morality and who sets those standards. This is just my opinion. Okay, I may be wrong. I don't want to force my opinions on everybody, but you know, I have to take everything back to the Bible. You know, because even
Going back to conservatism, right? Do you think conservatism is exclusive to Christianity as far as religions are concerned? Because I think Muslims
I don't
tend to have conservatism as well.
I don't think I don't think the whole concept of conservatism is exclusive to Christians. However, just like you said, what is conservatism? You're trying to conserve, right? What are you trying to conserve? You're trying to conserve the mores, the values, and what the traditions.
Tradition,
What are
culture.
what are the traditions in America? Are they Christian or are they Muslim?
America is
They're
Christian for the most
Christian.
part.
So by virtue of that, all these people, you know, all these conservatives, you know, they really need to examine what they're espousing by their rhetoric. You know,
Really,
a lot of them don't really stop to think about what they're saying. I'm not, and I say that I'm not trying to put anything out there. I'm not trying to say that, that I don't, impartial to Muslims or I'm biased against Muslims. I'm not saying that at all. When I'm just answering the question, in reference to in context of what we're talking about. When we talk about conservatism, we're talking about American conservatism. So, all this opening up the gates to everybody, that it don't
That's
work
not
like that.
conservatism. That's
That's
liberalism. If you
that's
open the gates to everybody, it's liberalism.
exactly.
So in a nutshell, you think that if the man is a Muslim and the woman's a Christian, that's just one example. Or if he's Jewish, she's Christian, or whatever, it's not going to work.
It doesn't. It's not gonna work. It's not. It can work if neither. If it will work if both of them have weak convictions, weak spiritual convictions. And what I mean by spiritual conviction, that's just another word for faith. Faith is what you're convinced of. You're convinced in something that is. You're convinced of a certain truth. You know. So you know,
How
and
about they're from the same country? Let's take um, I'm trying to think of a country that has Catholics and Muslims. Well, Ethiopia
That's
is
what
like that.
I'm gonna say.
Ethiopia
Yeah.
has Catholics and Ethiopia has Muslims. Albania is is actually like probably the only European country that's saturated with Catholicism and Islam too. So let's say there's an Albanian man and woman, or let's say there's an Ethiopian man and woman. One of them is Catholic. In these two couples, like there's an Albanian couple, one of them is Catholic, one of them is Muslim. There's an Ethiopian couple, one of them is Catholic, one of them is Muslim. Will it work? Being that they're the same culture and ethnicity.
It's gonna work if you're only serving if you're if you're not trying to serve God, you or if a Muslim is not trying to serve Allah, it will work.
So it'll work in the flesh, but
It'll
not
work.
in the spirit.
Yeah, exactly. It will work in the flesh. But see, what people fail to realize is life is not all flesh. And people that believe that life is all flesh, they don't live a high quality of life.
No.
They they're always after material things. Life is all spiritual. I can even postulate it from a scientific perspective. Energy, matter is made of energy, right? We cannot see energy. We can see energy at work, but when energy slows down, it materializes into what? Matter. So all life is spiritual. People don't want to admit it, but it is. Why do you see a lot of rich people? They're miserable. They have all these material things, but they're not fulfilled. They're empty inside. They don't have a purpose for tomorrow. If everything is about just feeding your desires and your appetites, you're always gonna be you're never gonna be satiated. So I mean, like I said, if it's fleshly, it will work, but it's not gonna work for long because the flesh dies really quick.
So speaking of feeding your desires and your appetite, if a man is a Christian and his woman is a Christian, they were bound together by God, right? And what happens if he cheats on his Christian wife with a woman that has a BBL?
I don't know how to answer. Didn't know how to answer this question. All right, look, I'm gonna tell you what
Because the reason why I asked that question, I'm sure, not to cut you off, I know you answered this along the way of this video, but I have to ask, what's if a man is, he's Christian, his wife is Christian, they're living by God, they're bound together by God, they're supposed to be equally yoked and all these things that are positive and everything, they love one another. Why is he cheating on his wife with a woman that has a BBL?
what if she didn't have a BBL? Would that make a difference?
You tell me.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. The BBL has nothing to do with it. What don't I already told you how it happens. When your wife is if you're a godly man and your wife is acting like the devil, you're not gonna want to go home.
No. You answered that. What if she's not acting like the devil and he's just cheating on her with the woman that has a BBL? I'm not saying that things are necessarily perfect, but he just cheats on her with the woman that has the BBL. And,
I'm gonna answer that
to the
twofold.
strip club. Is he just a weak man?
I'm gonna answer that twofold. Okay. If your woman is good to you and you step out on her, then something's wrong with that man. Big black look.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah. If your woman is providing everything for you, she's there for you. She's no woman is perfect, but she's making a valiant effort to walk with you. Then you have no reason to step out on her, because you're only going to hurt her.
So we say that Russell, not me, men say Russell Wilson is a simp. When a man cheats on that woman, like you said, she's not perfect. She's doing the best she can do. And what does it make that man that cheats on her with the woman that has a BBL? What does that make him? Like,
What?
Russell Wilson is a simp for whatever his dynamic is with Sierra. What do we call a man that cheats on his God-fearing, loving wife, and he cheats on her with a woman that has a BBL? What do we call that man?
What if he? I don't get what the BBL is. I don't get what the obsession with the BBL. Like, you could have said, what do we call a man that just cheats?
Fine. What do we call him?
A man.
Oh God.
A man. Look, it's a nuanced topic. That's what I'm trying to say. A man can slip on a banana peel and fall into some poo nanny. I mean, it can happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right, but in all things, right? In everything. This is why the Bible is the truth. Because in all things that you do, make sure you're accountable to what God instructed you to do, so you will be held blameless. It doesn't matter what the other person is doing. It's like, I was called to love people, right? I wasn't called to make other people love me. God called me to love other people. So when I'm married, my duty to God is to love my wife. It doesn't matter what she's doing. As long as she's my wife, it's my duty to love her. It's simple as that. Now, if it gets to the fact to where we cannot coexist in peace, then we split. But it's my job to make sure that my hands remain clean, so God's blessing could stay upon me. So when women ask this question, what does that make a man? Like, I don't know. It just makes a man a man. Like, things like this happen.
Would that make him weak in any regard? The fact that he lacks discipline in being faithful to his wife?
If his wife is doing everything right,
yeah,
it could make him. It could mean he's weak. He might get caught. Like, he may be in the office, ready to go home, and then the secretary comes in and seduces him. Yeah, he was in a weak moment. Yeah, he didn't plan on doing that. It just happened. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like,
no, I'm not. So on the BBL question of this video, you pointed out pretty much that everything's not physical with a man.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not physical.
Nah, it's not always physical.
So overall, men don't prefer women with BBLs.
Absolutely not. Like, no.
So what is it when a man, and we'll get into Keke Palmer and Darius Jackson, what is it with a man, like he sees a woman with a BBL and whatever, maybe she's his first pick to, you know, when he's doing a rap video, she's his first pick, or he's flying her out to Dubai, he's flying her out to Miami and so forth, and he's tricking on her and splurging on her and all these things. What's that all about?
I don't know. That's what rappers do. Rappers are degenerates. Most of them are.
Only rappers do that?
The Fresh and Fit, don't they do that? They do that, right?
They most certainly do.
Too.
Absolutely. You got that right.
Yeah, so it's not about.
And to think that the Republicans and the conservatives endorse them, but hey, that's another topic for another day.
It's because of the whole male hegemony thing, you know, or hegemony.
A man is a man, right?
No, man, no. Like, no, I don't agree. I don't agree with their talking points. I'm not about to. I'm not about to have anybody snip up this video and be like, see, the real ISO agrees with Fresh and Fit. I don't. I think they're lame too. But you know, though, I think that's the issue right there. Women take the guys that are seen in the forefront, and they you know, they attribute their bullshit attributes to all other men. You know, Chris Brown, he'll like a petite light-skinned girl. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh, black men just like petite light-skinned girls. No, the black men that you likes petite light-skinned girls. But
every man has their own preference.
Yeah, you know. Mm-hmm. But we get judged on what the popular guys do. The popular guys are a lot of them are degenerates. Yes. Because the world they exalt degenerates, and that's
they have the world in their hand by way of money.
Yeah, that's the whole mind fuck. You know, they put these worldly people out there, and they're like, okay, this is how to be. They live the life. This is the life that you want to live. You know, look at the kind of girls they have. That's the kind of girl that you want to look like. You know, and this is the kind of man you want to be. This is the pinnacle of a man, and it's not. It's a lie. It's false. I don't want to be those guys.
And I'm telling you, that's why many of us as women, not to make this too political, but I'm coming from a moral compass. That's why many of, like, when it comes to your Andrew Tate, your Fresh and Fit, and mind you, like, if you look at my timeline and you go back like a year ago, 2 years ago, you'll see, and I'm not going to delete it by all means. I have Kevin Samuels and I have Andrew Tate on my timeline, and I'm not going to delete whether I outgrow something or whether I change. This is my growth. This is my journey, right? But what I'm saying overall is, women like myself, when we see Fresh and Fit and Justin Waller and Mediocre Tutorials and all these guys that are affiliated with the manosphere and everything like that, or, you know, and we get upset that the conservatives and the Christians and the Republicans endorse these guys, is because what are we going to stand on? If you guys are endorsing degeneracy and gluttony by way of all these women, you know, you have all these women on your yachts and on your jets and everything like that, what are we going to stand on? What is the middle ground? How are we going to get to a middle ground between man and woman? Not to make things perfect, but how are we going to get to a middle ground? If we got our Christians and conservatives endorsing them, that's a huge problem. And then when we say that as women, we get called feminists. We get attacked for that. So,
well, that's what I'm saying, that we got to be more nuanced about these things, these topics. You know, like, you know, you keep saying the BBL. I'm like, it's more nuanced than just physical. We gotta consider all things.
So the BBL is just there.
Yeah, you know. So I'm just like, you know, the Republicans are just sorry. Like, they're I hate to say, but they're useless, and we saw that in 2020.
That's both historical and current with the Republicans, right?
Yeah.
That's not just now, but that's just something that's been going on for a while, right? So
yeah, I think what cripples the Republicans is the Zionism. I think that's what cripples, because there's no way that you can justify Zionism and still have the moral high ground.
And claim that you're Christian. I mean, go all at the same time, right? Doesn't make sense.
I mean, you can claim you're Christian, but you can't keep the moral high ground, because Zionism is just like the pro-black thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm black, I can do no wrong.
Yep.
Believe me, because I'm black. I'm black. Believe me, I know. So it's the same thing with the Zionism. It's like, well, you know, they're the chosen. You know, so we got to support them no matter what happens. It's the same thing.
It really
You know, so
is.
there's no way you can have the moral high ground if you're into that Zionism thing. You know, there's just no way you can maintain it because it's laden with contradiction. So, you know, that's what's killing the Republican Party. That is a cancer in the Republican Party, and it's a cancer in the American church. You
Yeah.
know, if we want to.
It's funny. Remember how last week on our live we were talking about the Judeo Christianity started in the 1940s Nazi Germany, and that was the liberals brought that in as a way of being inclusive, and now the Republicans fast forward are just consuming that and inhaling that and just taking that all in. Isn't that like very
Yeah,
ironic?
but people don't care about history.
I do. Speaking of history, did you get a chance to, not that we have to go into it right now, but did you get a chance to watch Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin? Did you get to watch that? I actually, like, I'm late to the party, but I actually just watched it today. And I was, even though these are things that I already known historically, because that's what I love, but I was just very blown away, you know, with things that Putin was, and a lot of people that know me, they know I love Putin. I love strong men worldwide. I'm pro-American, but I love strong men worldwide. I love historical leaders and that were strong, and not that they were perfect, not that they got everything right on the land or whatever country that they were in, but Putin is definitely somebody that I respect or whatever. But it's just like when I seen him talk to Tucker Carlson, it was just amazing. Like, did you get a chance to watch that?
No, I didn't watch all of it. I just watched like 10 minutes of it, and I was just like, "Whew." I'll pick this up later because it's like 2-3 hours.
Yeah, it was about like a good 2 hours.
Yeah, and I watched Dr. Shiva last year when Russia and Ukraine went to war. I watched the history. He was breaking down the history of that whole conflict. You know, so,
And that's what Putin was
yeah,
doing as well. He brought it back to the 13th century. He brought it back to why it is the way it is now, and how Ukraine played during the time of Nazi Germany, and just, you know, it was just a whole domino effect and how things fold into one another. But it was a wonderful interview nonetheless. I just watched it earlier today. But in and men in general can learn a thing or two from that video. It's, like I said, it's 2 hours. Putin is a solid dude. He answered questions, but there are just certain things he's not going to answer. He's not going to fold. Um, Putin is that guy. Like, he's just very solid dude. Like, anybody could do a crime with him, and he's not going to snitch on you because he knows how to hold his water. He's a solid dude. I don't know. That's just to say the least. He's like, I've always loved Putin, and after that interview, I'm just like even more intrigued with him. He's a solid man, great leader. I don't know. Maybe I have a bias because he's Orthodox like me. I don't know, but just a solid dude, wonderful leader. And it was a great interview. I was gonna actually wanted to do a segment on that or whatever.
I have to
You don't
watch
watch
it. But
it.
one thing I say about Putin, I don't really know much about Putin, but he comes across as somebody that really is devoted to his country.
Yes.
Respect that. I think that our leaders have no devotion to America. I think our leaders hate America.
Yeah.
Not, let me retract that. They're not our leaders, but these pseudo representatives that
Puppets.
policy,
Mm-hmm.
I think they hate America and they hate Americans. I think that they only look at Americans as people that they'll keep them in power, and you know they look at us as income, you know, because
Exactly.
they make money off our tax dollars. They make money off us getting poorer and poorer.
And that's pretty much what Putin was saying to Tucker Carlson in that interview. Like, Putin was just talking about, you know, you figure you want to talk about nationalism and like, he, hands down, Putin is a conservative. Like, just the way he thinks of Russia, the way he wants to reserve Russia, the way he knows for a fact that Ukraine was supposed to be with Russia. I don't know. I think it just resonated with me because, as you know, I'm Ethiopian and Eritrean, and Eritrea used to be part of Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So just from when you talk about wars and history and land and stuff like that, I tend to deeply understand that perspective, and I'm one who supports nationalism. Right now in my life, I'm just an American nationalist. Like I'm just America first. That's just where I am now with it. But it was when you get a chance, check it out whenever you have time if you can. Like it was just he loves Russia. That's like you're absolutely head on with that. He loves Russia. He was there. He's seen it all. He's seen the Soviet Union come to an end. And he was saying certain things like about George Bush Sr. But it was actually, and he didn't mention certain things, but just from my knowledge, the way that I know things, when the Soviet Union came to an end, and that was under this guy. I can't pronounce his name correctly, but his
Gorbachev?
name was
Gor-
huh? Yeah,
Gorbachev?
Mikhail. How do you say Mikhail?
Gor-
What's the last name? Dobrovich.
Gorbachev, something like that.
Yeah, Mikhail Dobrovich. I think but he was there. Mikhail Dobrovich, if I'm saying it correctly, he was there within the Soviet Union, but then he ended it, and that was during Ronald Reagan's term. And Ronald Reagan played a part with the Soviet Union coming to an end as well. And then things shifted into George Bush Sr.'s term or whatever. But he didn't mention Ronald Reagan's part. See, because the thing is, Putin wasn't mentioning every single thing. And listen, I respect it. He wasn't mentioning all the details and stuff like that, but he was primarily touching base on George Bush's presidency and stuff like that. But whatever the case, Putin's been around. He knows the history. He's an Orthodox man. He loves his country, and the way that under this Biden administration, the way that they fooled people, and I've seen it from the gate. I've seen it from the gate. I just think that we need strong men, and that's why I'm saying if you want to do a live on that on the Tucker Carlson and Putin video, I think we can somehow talk about that video, and if you see it for yourself, we could also touch base on what men can learn from that situation, how they can apply it to their life, apply it to their household, or apply it to their business, just to be a solid man. So that's something that I'd be, if you want to, totally up to you. That's something I'd totally be interested in doing.
Yeah, we can rock on that next week.
Yeah, not to, yeah, like next week. But then we still gotta get to Keke Palmer and Darius Jackson, right?
Yeah, I think a lot.
What is your huh?
You said what?
What is your knowledge so far on Keke Palmer and Darius Jackson? The dynamic of their relationship.
All right. Gosh, Keke Palmer, and like I said last week, I don't like talking about people, but since you asked, Keke Palmer is she is the golly, what she is the Minister of Defense for the Sista Gurl Mafia, and Beyonce is the head of state of the. Like Keke Palmer is insufferable. She's annoying. She's confused about who she is. She knows that people don't like her. She tries to fit in. She has an inferiority complex, and none of those are a good combination, to be in a relationship. And the way she had her mom talking to that man, I mean, shit, like I would have had to send some hoes at her. Like I would have to hire some hoes to get at her or something, because you ain't finna just talk to me and just ride off into the sunset. Like
I know you like your petite woman and everything like that. Is she your type? What do you think about her?
Keke, I mean, is she pretty? She's average. She's prettier than Rihanna, but I mean,
what? You think Keke Palmer is prettier than Rihanna?
Rihanna is all right. She is not that fine. She got that big old forehead, and she looks like a Cabbage Patch doll. Like that's what Rihanna looks like. I don't know if you remember those Cabbage Patch Kids. I don't know if you remember those, but that's what Rihanna looks like. She's talented.
Angel Wink says, "Sorry, Miss Jackson. Rihanna is beautiful. What are you saying?"
I'm a man, so only my opinion
I
counts
know
on here.
you're a man, but from a man's perspective, like remember the whole talk about verses before verses. Remember the whole comparison throughout the midst of the 2000s was they always compared men. They always compared Rihanna versus Beyonce, right? So a lot of men would argue, I guess by beauty standards, they would say that Beyonce is prettier than Rihanna, but Rihanna is sexier than Beyonce. You don't agree with that saying?
Kelly looks better than both of them.
There are men out there, not by large, but there are men out there that would say that Kelly is beautiful.
Most men are
She
gonna
is beautiful, but I'm saying there are men that said that they prefer Kelly over Beyonce. Kind of like I told you with the Kardashian sisters. Kim is at the forefront, but there are men out there that do say that they prefer Courtney over Kim. So I understand. Men have preferences, and that's totally okay.
most black men.
Angel Wing said you're brutal, by the way.
That's all right. That's all right. But
He really is.
most
With
black
his double standards.
Kelly is finer than Beyonce, and
She's beautiful. I mean,
I'll even think I'll even say that Latoya Luckett, you know,
Latoya Luckett is
she was
from the original Destiny's Child. She's beautiful. I've always no, yeah. Latoya, no. Yes, she's beautiful. But what's the other one's name? I just lost it.
Latavia
The
or Michelle.
the original Destiny's Child.
Okay, the original is Latavia.
She's beautiful.
The one with them big old eyes.
The brown skin one.
What's
from the original Destiny's Child.
Okay.
Like when Destiny's Child first came in, you had, Beyonce.
The Bills.
Yes.
The one with that.
She's beautiful.
The one with that big head.
She's little. I think she's tiny. Like she's.
Latavia.
Is that
Latavia.
Her name?
Yeah, she alright. I think she alright. I thought that Latoya Luckett was the finest one when I was a kid, and now that I'm grown, I think Kelly is the finest one now. But yeah, Latavia Robinson.
Yeah, but let me tell you, Keke Palmer is not prettier than Rihanna, but I understand that men have preferences to each their own, and I respect that. So, but yeah, with Keke Palmer, I think she's the toxic one in the relationship. I think she's kind of going into what you were saying, like, you kind of think she's seeking validation. Is that what you think?
Yeah,
the way she's drawing attention, the way she did that Usher skit, like how she had the see-through.
She's over. Yeah, she's very she's trying to fit in with the cool kids.
With the feminist and the modern woman, so to speak, right?
Yeah, she knows she's not that. She knows she's not. She ain't that chick. So she tries to overcompensate. That's why she quote unquote dated down. That's why she dated a regular guy, because she knows she can't pull a guy of her on her level or whatever we want to say.
The thing is, I do think that Keke Palmer is multi-talented, and I won't take that from her by all means. But I just can't respect. And I did a video, at that time, when it was fresh, when she went on stage with Usher, she had the see-through, and it was very disrespectful to the father of her child. And then when he responded and said what he said on Twitter, I believe, saying a man can't, basically saying something along the lines of a man can't even criticize, the mother of his child, and then the woman army or the feminists and the modern woman, so to speak,
This the Gurl Mafia.
Absolutely, exactly. We're just going off on him. First of all, that's the father of her child. He can say whatever he wants to say. And I do believe that, not to say that I think he's perfect, I think it's a toxic relation altogether, but I think that she's the one. That's why a few days ago I did a video because she was like, oh, a narcissist, it takes a narcissist to move on quickly or something along those lines. And I'm like, yeah, Keke Palmer would know what a narcissist is because she's the narcissist. She's very disrespectful to the father of her child. I think that's utterly wrong. And she's just out there just trying to make him look bad. And then she's trying to take full custody of the child. It's just, she's, like you said, you said it perfectly. Like, I totally agree with you. It's disgusting what she's doing.
Yeah. she's insufferable. She's annoying. Like I don't think she's talented. You know, she swings both ways.
Oh,
Yeah,
she does? I didn't know that.
yeah. I just don't like her. Like she's all over the place, and she's not. I'm not gonna say I don't like her. I don't like her persona. She's not my type of person. Like her and I are not the same. Like, she's just a typical industry Hollywood person. She's the kind of type that she'll try to like high side on somebody she grew up with. You know, like she'll see somebody she grew up with at the mall. They be like, "Hey," and then she'll just look down at them. That's what she seems like to me. Um, you know, she has low self esteem.
Yep. Angel Wings, yep. She does too much for the culture, similar to what you just
Yeah,
said.
she's just yeah. But yet and still,
What do you, as a woman, like, what do you, with her level of fame and everything like that, what do you get out of throwing your son's father under the bus like that? I mean, you done stepped on stage with Usher and had your see-through, similar to what I was saying about Sierra, which when women do that, it's very disrespectful. And now you're making it seem like he's very domestic and violent towards you. So back in November, she had a restraining order against him. So right now we're in February. Last month in January, he had a restraining order towards her too. So definitely there's toxicity one way or another coming from both of them, right? But in my humble opinion, I think she's the problem. I don't think he's, like, in the bulk of things or the grand scheme of things, I don't think he's the problem. I think she's the problem, because it goes into literally what you said. And even shout outs to Angel Wings. She's just doing it for the culture, the toxic culture at that. So
did you see how she was talking to him? You see how she was talking to him? How she was running her mouth to him?
in the video when they was fighting, or
It
was it
was
like leading
it
into
was
that or
just
something?
it was just a conversation, and then you know the way she sicked her mom on him. Do you do you remember that?
That was after the domestic, the DV
I don't
situation.
I don't, I don't know. I don't really know the timeline too well, but I'm just saying like all that kinds of points to what I was saying earlier about why men cheat.
Yeah. Oh, I can understand. That's what I'm saying. She just posted a status saying, "Oh, it takes a narcissist to move on quick." So if he moved on, put it like this, it's a catch-22, because if he moved on, it's good that he moves on, but not yet, because I want him to heal. I want him to be happy. I want him to find a good woman that's not loud and ghetto like Kiki, but I don't want him to jump into another relationship just right now. Let him heal, let him get over those humps, and then find a nice, beautiful woman, and then they take it from there. Because right now everything is too fresh. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
he should. I mean, who am I to tell somebody what to do? But I think you understand what I'm saying.
maybe you should slide in his DM.
No,
Y'all can be the Brady Bunch.
no.
Nah, but I don't know how people use this word narcissist. Like
Don't
it gets
loose.
like people don't know what narcissist comes from. Narcissist comes from a guy in Greek mythology that he fell in love with his own reflection, and all he did all day was look at how beautiful he was and admired himself. And then people would bring beautiful women to him, and none of them were good enough for him. And then he just died looking at himself, and he turned into a flower. So that's where the term narcissist comes from. And for all these chicks that call men narcissists, I don't get it, because it's not men that look into the camera taking selfies all damn day and have all these men flooding their DMs trying to get at them, and none of them are good enough. That's what women do. Like men don't do that. I don't get this whole obsession with calling somebody a narcissist. I don't know. That just shows how the ignorance of people, or maybe the word evolved. I don't know, but
It evolved in a way where it's just too loose, just extremely loose.
yeah, when you got imbeciles like Kiki Palmer calling somebody a narcissist, it's time to get another word, because you know I don't know. She don't strike me as the brightest bulb in the box. But I mean, and look, I said I wasn't gonna talk about people. I don't want to be the guy that talks about people on the internet.
You know, it's
but,
funny
yeah.
that you say that, and I understand what you're saying, because even with me on this journey of making videos, and sometimes I've been hesitant to talk about celebrities, right? But and I don't know, hopefully this gives you an idea. Like, celebrities at the end of the day, they are human beings just like us, right? The only difference is they have more status than us, as us being normies, so to speak, right? But the reason why we talk about these topics, or the reason why we talk about celebrities, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not trying to speak for you, but me, if any reason, like within this live, or if I do a video in general, right? If I talk about celebrities, it's not because I want to gossip about them or throw them under the bus, but my purpose in my content and my videos, and why I do what I do, is I want to talk about culture. I want to talk about conserving the nuclear family, and I want our children to be safe. I want the moral compass to be appreciated again. Or I like to talk about the rift between man and woman, or I like to talk about the cult-like mind between people. People just jumping on the bandwagon. Oh yeah, you think this way, so I'm gonna think just like that, and all these things. So if for any reason I talk about celebrities, or even in this live right now, as we're talking about Keke Palmer and Darius Jackson, it seems like me and you, when we've done our two first lives, today's our second live, we're talking about the dynamic between man and woman, and that's something that I talk about in my videos. So it's not that I want to bash celebrities, but again, celebrities are human beings, and how do we relate the situation, being that it's on the forefront? We have that as a topic of discussion. So again, you're not gossiping, like you're not giving female vibes or anything like that. It's just, it relates to what we talk about. It's just, it's there, and it's on the forefront. So I don't know if that's how you feel yourself. I don't want to speak for you, but I know for me, that's if I talk about celebrities. Because at first I was like confused. I'm like, how am I gonna do content without gossiping about people, including celebrities? Because celebrities, again, they're human beings. But like I said, moving forward, if for any reason I talk about celebrities, it's because I'm using it as an example to what I stand for, and I'm gonna do a compare and contrast for people to see what they could do better for themselves. So I don't know. That's my purpose, at least. So
What I mean by that is, you know, speaking ill of people. That's what I'm
from the
talking about. I don't.
judging perspective.
Well, I don't want to have a negative opinion of people, because you know I don't want to be the guy people come to hear you know, to hear me bash, you know, their most hated celebrity. I don't want to be, I want to be known for that, you know. And
Trust me, it's
no, I don't.
I get it.
You know, I I just want to. I want to be a positive person. I want to just be a person. I want to be balanced. You know, not delusional. I don't know what the word is, but you know, I want to be balanced, but I want to be positive. I want people to come to my page and get inspiration. You know, not be like, yeah, that dude is a hoe, or that dude does suck, or yeah, she is a bitch. I don't want that. Don't, you know, don't come to me for that. Like, hey, world, don't come to me for that. Like, go read my old post if you want to see that. You know, I used to be very opinionated about that, but like, I just, nah, not no more. You know, there's so much beauty in life that I can you know, speak about than focusing on the ugly. You know, I don't want to be the guy to skip all the, you know, all the good women because I'm mad about the, you know, these hoes out here. I don't want to be that guy. So
You don't want Keke Palmer to be
yeah, I don't.
the face of how you look at women,
Yeah,
right?
because when you know, when you think about something, you keep talking about something that comes to you, and I don't want that. I don't
That
want that.
energy,
I just
that full circle, right?
yeah, I just think that life is such a gift, and you know, the world is so beautiful if we just appreciate it for what it is. You know, it's like, you know, for instance, I'm not trying to be slick with my mouth, but you know, people may scroll across, this video, like when you're just on Instagram, you're just scrolling through stories, they might see this video and then they might see, they'll be like, that's a beautiful woman, or they might say that's, some young lady might be like, hey, that's a really handsome guy, instead of, and then I'll be like, yeah, man, this bitch, this bitch, that. And she'd be like, oh no, never mind. You know what I'm saying?
But that's not how you're talking, though.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I just want to exalt the beauty of life. That's all I'm saying. Instead.
You are, though.
Well, it just takes one time to formulate an opinion about somebody. That's why they say first impressions last a lifetime. I think first impressions are overrated because you might catch somebody on a bad day, but that's just where I've grown to, because nobody ever asks for the context about anything. They're just like, oh, she's negative or he's mean. They don't want to know why you may be having a bad day. They don't care. And it takes a lot of energy to care sometimes, especially about a stranger. But anyway, I wanted to ask you this. So you said you used to be pro-black, a black nationalist. What changed? And I don't know. I think I asked you that last week, but could you answer that again?
Sure. In 2018, oh my God, I just went through this, like, I was bugging out and just it was the weirdest thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just, I was like heavy into depression and just really out of whack in terms of my physical senses. I was like, my senses, I was just out of whack. I was like gone. And just all these voices, not voices, but all these things came into my mind of a flashback. Like I had like a hindsight thing of all the things I've experienced, all the arguments that I had in my life and all these things. And I just felt like, damn, I just kept telling myself I'm a bad person. That's what I was going through. And it was so crazy because I just spiraled and just went out of control. And next thing you know, it was the day of it was May 19, which coincidentally happens to be Malcolm X's birthday, right? And it was not only that, but in May 19 on a Saturday, year 2018, that was the day of the royal wedding. And I don't know, something just dawned upon me randomly, like just in the blink of an eye, within me bugging out, between my senses not being up to par, my senses not 100%, I'm bugging out. All these things, I'm telling myself I'm a bad person, I'm telling myself I should be dead, and all these things bugging out, all these things that I went through, and I'm just in the hospital, and the royal wedding was on, but not so much that I was even paying attention to the royal wedding. Then all these people were talking, just having conversations amongst themselves. They were like, oh yeah, what if they leave, like they were talking about they're talking about Harry and Meghan Markle, because like I said, it was May 19, 2018 on a Saturday, which also was Malcolm X's birthday. And it's so crazy because they were like, oh yeah, what if he leaves the wedding, or they leave the wedding, instead of them having a limousine or whatever perfect drive, they'll leave on a zebra. In my mind, I was bugging out. I'm like, are they making fun of me because they're talking about zebras? I'm like, are they making fun of me because I'm African? It was just all this weird shit was in my brain. Then, like 20 minutes later, just something just out of nowhere, I swear, out of nowhere, was like, oh my God, racism is not, because I used to think, like, my interpretation of white people used to originally be either they want to be us or they hate us. There's no in between. There's no median. That was originally how I used to think. And then it didn't just stay there in 2018. I didn't just change and snap out of my pro-blackness or whatever, or my nationalism. And that was 2018. And 2020, I just kind of like, I sealed the deal. Like I just became, instead of being like pro-black, I became like pro-human race. And instead of being like a black nationalism, I became American nationalism. But because I was pro-black ever since I was 12 years old, I went through in year 2000 during that election with George Bush versus Al Gore. Even though I knew I had conservative ways of thinking and stuff like that. I felt like they cheated Al Gore, and he was a Democrat. I felt like they cheated him. And one thing about me, I like fairness. I like, if you win fair and square. I don't care. You could be the opposite of what I stand for. You won, you won. I believe that you have to earn things in life. So I tapped out of politics when I was like 10, 11 years old. And then at 12 years old, I became pro-black. So from 12 years old to 30 years old, even though at 28 years old, I had that spiritual awakening, you know, I was just pro-black. Like, you know, I date black men, I reproduced with a black man. It was a lifestyle. It wasn't a saying. Support black business when nobody's looking, and come through, stay solid, stay 10 toes down, the street life, all of that. I was there. I was around. And then when I seen that, okay, like I said, I'm Ethiopian, and a lot of people in the black community ostracized me. They accused me of being a Muslim. Not only did they accuse me of being a Muslim, but they would also accuse me of being an Arab. So I dealt with a lot of rejection in that regard. And just, I don't know. I just started, as much of a Malcolm X person I am, as I always used to call myself, like I've always been a Malcolm X type of person. The one thing I agree with MLK, Martin Luther King, was don't judge people by their skin or whatever, judge them by their character. And I came to that term in 2020, just like sealed it. I don't know. But then even now, I still have my old traits of black nationalism, because like I said, that was 18 years of my life. It's kind of like if you meet somebody, and I've met a lot of guys, black guys in particular, they were born Christian and then they became Muslim, maybe because they're from Brooklyn, or like maybe they're from Brooklyn or Queensbridge. Maybe they were raised around Muslims or Nuwabians or 5%ers, and these are just people that I was cool with. Or because they were locked up in jail. But then I would also, a lot of these black guys that I've known or come paths with, they would leave Islam and then they would go back to the Christianity that they was born into. Or even when I would, over the years since I was young, and I would look at Farrakhan, and I'm like, when I hear him talk, because I know the first 25 years of Farrakhan's life, he was a Christian. But then at 25 years old, he turned Muslim. But even though he turned Muslim, he's always saying Jesus, 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 Jesus. Every time you hear him talk, I never hear Farrakhan say Allah. But if I hear him say anything remotely close to Islam, he's saying Elijah Muhammad, because Elijah Muhammad was like the father that he never had. He gave up his singing career and everything for Elijah Muhammad. And I'm mentioning that because I'm like, why would these men like leave Christianity and go to Islam, and then they leave Islam to go back to Christianity? And these men were very knowledgeable that I knew. It's some, even I know 5%ers that read the Bible, right? And this is just a little side note off of my journey of getting, because I told you in the last live last week, I'm getting closer to God, and I'm on my spiritual journey. And I was baptized Orthodox when I was 2 months as a baby, and now I'm getting closer to it. And in my journey, it was a lot of black men that were very knowledgeable, just like similar to you, how you're knowledgeable about the Old and the New Testament. It was just, I don't know. I think the way I was raised, demographically speaking, I wasn't raised around Ethiopians. And I've said that in a lot of my videos. I was raised around black people. So culturally speaking, forget about race, forget about skin color, I was raised around black people. So it was nothing for me to be in that pro-black lifestyle. But then when I dealt with a lot of back and forth, you know, arguing and all those things like that, and I have negative. I'm telling you the positives right now. I'm not telling you the negatives. The negatives kind of just made me go to understanding, like, hey, don't judge people by their, you know, race or ethnicity. I was never a colorist, so that was never a problem. But I don't know. Things just changed. I no longer view all white people as being racist. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Actually, I probably went all around the world with explaining my journey, but that's
no. I appreciate it, and I'm sure that people that are watching are gonna appreciate you sharing that, because you know, we're all on a journey, and you know, all of our journeys, you know, sometimes they intersect. You know, I wouldn't say like I was pro black. It's kind of like in the South, you can't be pro black. Like pro black is like those Negroes up there from where you're from that call each other God, and you know.
Wait, you talking about New York?
Yeah,
Connecticut, like up north?
yeah, like there were no hoteps here. Like all the hoteps here are from up north, or even on the West Coast. So like here, it's the Bible Belt. So there's no kind of like real pro black, but like it's like you're indoctrinated into that whole paradigm of, well, I'm black, they're white, we're different, and so it's like I used to be into that. We gotta stick together. I got to ride for my people. Like George Bush, don't do nothing for black people, and all that stupid shit that didn't even make sense. But I was always endeavoring to walk with God. So the more I started growing, spiritually, I had stopped going to church in 2018 because I just stopped learning. I wasn't growing at all. So I was looking for answers. So I had looked into the Hebrew Israelites, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, what they're saying, yeah, it makes sense on surface, but they were mean. So I was like, well, God, I don't know. God is a God of love. So, I was like, I'll listen to them, but I'll never like just 100% rock with them. So I met this girl I used to tutor. I met her parents, and then they were like they ran a fellowship at their home, and I started growing that way, so I grew a lot. And then, you know, what pushed me over, what was the straw on the camel's back, was the whole David Sterling situation. Or was it David Sterling or the Donald Sterling with the Clippers? I don't know if you remember the NBA owner that, he was talking to his jump off on the phone. He said, "I don't want you talking to Magic Johnson. He has AIDS, and all you bring all these Negroes to my game, and you're making me look bad." And and he got, she recorded him saying all that. You know what I'm saying? So um, all the black folks were like, he needs to be fired. They need to take his team away. He needs to be kicked out of the NBA. I was like, hold on. Just because he has an opinion, because he don't like your black ass, that means you should take his stuff? I was like, nah. I was like, I'm done with you niggas. Like, no. I'm like, you niggas, I'm done with y'all. So after that, I was just like, there's no justice trying to be pro-black. Everything is about maintaining the code. And the code is wicked.
Validation.
The code is wicked. They didn't even care that he was cheating on his wife. All they cared was that he didn't like Magic because he was black. And he really just didn't like Magic because he was jealous of Magic. Magic, he has that nice smile. He's tall. His girlfriend was mingling with Magic. So he really liked his jump off. So it wasn't necessarily that he was black. It's just that he's Magic, and you're making me look bad in front of my other Jewish friends. And so all the black people were like, Adam Silver, he's the commissioner of the NBA. He deserves an NAACP award. I'm like, man, you niggas are coons. I'm done with y'all, because if the shoe was on the other foot, if somebody recorded your private conversation within the confines of your home, you would say that, well, this is what the government been doing to the black man the whole time. They did to Martin Luther King and this, that, and the other. And I don't think that it's right to convict somebody on evidence that is, gotten in a ill manner. I don't think that was right. So after that, I was like, man, I'm done with you niggas. Like, I'm like, forget this pro-black stuff.
No, I went through that too. That's what I was saying a little while ago. I was talking about the positives, but I wasn't talking about the negatives. And the negatives was, it goes into what you're saying, the whole staying on code, whether, not to be like, whether it was a black man violating me physically, or whether it was black women being ghetto and ratchet, disrespecting me. The whole staying on code is equivalent to seeking validation. And when you're trying to prove yourself, and I'm not saying everybody in the black community is like this. I'm particularly speaking on the toxic sector of the black community, right? The toxic culture. When you try to, it's like the goalpost keeps just getting moved. You're constantly trying to seek validation in this toxic, disgusting culture. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, even kind of like I told you last week in the live, like when I was out clubbing or when I'm talking and having conversations or just, I just didn't fit in. I was always different, anyways, just to begin with. And even if I supported Black business, I'm not, forget about Facebook and Instagram. This could be during Black Planet days or before that. Who cares? I was always there. I was always loyal. I never got nothing, you know, not that I was asking for anything, but it was just a toxic culture and it was very disgusting. The things that I seen. You can't question nobody in the Black community when you argue with them and all those things. And you constantly seek validation and it's never enough. It's just never enough. And all these things, like I said, it was all a domino effect or rather a chain reaction. You know who my people are? My people are not Black people. My people are not Ethiopian people. My people are people of good character. That's who my people are. And it took me years to get here through knowledge and growth and understanding. And that's just where I'm at. So with that being said, like I'm pro-American and I'm American nationalist. I don't know how you could be American nationalist when there's so many different ethnicities, right? But I'm just pro-American. I'm American first, and I'm getting closer to God, and I'm tapping into my Orthodox roots. That's something that I've been as I got older. And yesterday, Blanche, we were both tapped in on Blanchard's video when he was talking about like eating and health and all that. It was when I came in tune with um, like Muslims and 5%ers alike, when I was vegan and when I was like dabbling with pescatarianism, which is something that I did on my own will, but it was like the 5%ers that like kind of got me onto like the veganism and it was a structure, it was discipline, and it was I don't know. I don't know. My journey is just quite kind of different, so I
Yeah.
don't know what to say. But
That's my critique about Christians. Christians tend to be more loose. Christians tend to not practice any kind of discipline towards any kind of regiment. And all life is regimented. It's like if you look in the book of Proverbs, everything is about you do this, you're gonna get that. You do this, you get that. But the way we've been taught about God and his word is just love. And, God loves you and just accepts you. God has standards for you, and that's why a lot of men turn their nose at the idea of being a Christian because, men only function in order. A man that wants to be productive needs structure to function. And, a lot of these Christian churches don't provide that. So that's why they go to Islam because they expect something out of you in Islam, but they provide the infrastructure for you to get it done. So that's one thing that I'm trying to
and Ramadan is coming up, and with Ramadan, that's all about discipline.
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I said, I was baptized into Orthodox Christianity when I was only 2 months, 60 days as a baby. And when I came across Orthodox and Pentecost, and because we have Pentecost and Protestant and
Yeah.
evangelist in Ethiopia as well. And when I came across these people, like they would say things to me, not the Orthodox so much, but more so the Pentecost and Protestants. They would say things to me like, "Oh, if you don't join our religion, you're gonna go to hell when you die," and all these things. And I'm sorry, but I was like 11, 12 years old at the time, and it turned me off. It felt very cult like to me
Yeah.
at that time, like 12 years old, and it just wasn't right. So now where I'm at with it, I know God is the answer. I'm getting closer to God. I've always been a woman, me personally, I've always been a woman of integrity, a woman that's faithful. And now that I'm on my Orthodox journey, getting closer to my Orthodox roots, which again, that's what I was born into, which goes back to the Old Testament, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me and I'm doing it for God. And I'm not because somebody's like, oh, you're going to go to hell when you die, or let alone a lot of these pastors and priests or however you want to, they don't even follow the stuff that they're saying. Like I didn't seen pastors in church skip over Leviticus because they don't want to talk about how the swine is dirty, and then they had Sunday dinner eating like pork chops and hog mogs and collard greens and stuff like that. Listen, that was all a turn off for me. So,
Yeah.
and I'm just giving you turn offs from the Ethiopian side and the Black American side. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you these things. And I was wrong in the degree of, I knew that they were hypocrites. That's first and foremost. So I was right about that. But I was wrong for letting them be the face of the faith that I should have followed. But I'm growing and I'm still here and I'm still alive and I'm getting closer to God. And that's a blessing within itself. So,
Well, I like what you said about my people are those with good character. You know, it's funny. Like Jesus, he said, well, let me give you the backstory. You know, Jesus was out teaching the people in the temple. So somebody came to Jesus and they said, your mom and your brothers are outside, because you know they thought he was crazy. They were going to get him committed into the insane asylum. And so, you know, he said, my mother, my brothers, and my sisters are those who hear, who do the will of my Father which is in heaven. Those are my, you know, my real family. That's what Jesus said. So that, you know, I kind of think that's cool. You know, it's kind of like, it kind of like lines up with, or what you said lines up with what he was saying. My people are those with character, and you know that's how you know, I feel you know, the same. It's like, you know, I don't get on here and, you know, try to preach to black people or the white people. You know, I try, you know, like if you watch my lives, I try not to talk about it, but you know, somehow I always throw the Bible into it somehow. I can't help it, but you know, my people are God's people. You know, those who have a desire to walk with God, those are my people. You know,
thanks.
so you know, and you know, I used to tell this girl I used to talk to, you know, we were in really deep, but we had some major disagreements about, you know, some fundamental, you know, morals. And, you know, I told her, I said, I don't care if I had a Siamese twin. If that Joker was evil, I'm cutting his ass off. I don't care if we got the same blood. Like, you know, it's about what's right and what's wrong. You know, it says that light has no fellowship with darkness. And you know, like we were saying earlier, you know, when we're talking about marriage, when you intermingle with people that don't have the same values as you, it's always going to end up in chaos. Always. And it's not even that it's going to end up in chaos, but the bad will always corrupt the good. I don't know why it's like that. I wish it was the other way around, but you know, that's just what it is.
Angel Wing says she never understood how people eat chitlins.
I don't.
Me neither.
Yeah, I haven't eaten pork since I was like 10. Like I hate. Well, let me not say that. Not 10, but maybe. I don't eat pork. I don't eat shrimp. I don't eat bottom feeders. I don't eat catfish. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really fully understand the dietary laws, but I just I just don't think that, you know, I'm getting any kind of edification by eating things that dirt and like, you know, like pigs eat everything indiscriminate. They'll eat a dead, like why would I eat something, they'll eat a dead carcass? Like, I don't know. Anyways, well, you got any questions for me before we wrap up? Because my battery's dying.
So your battery's about to die?
Yeah, I had 20%. So
I'm on 30%. But I don't know. Do you have any questions to ask me?
well, you know, I already asked. Um, so I'm trying to get you married. So
You said what? You try to get me married?
I'm trying to get some young man to see you. So, yeah.
Aren't you single as
Yeah,
well?
I'm single as well. Yeah, but it's different for me. You know,
It's easier for you, right?
no, it's not. It's very harder. It's infinitely harder. Like all y'all have to do is just show up and make yourself seen. You know, that's all. that's all y'all have to do. You know, you may see me, but you don't know. You don't know. If I'm adequate. You don't know if I'm in a position. Y'all don't have to worry about that. We got to do the heavy lifting. All y'all got to do is help. So,
I mean, according to Fresh and Fit and the Manosphere, I'm
look,
fried. So
I don't listen to fuck boys. Like I don't listen to half gay niggas. Like I don't do that. They have nothing. Even Kevin Samuels, like he's not a guy that if I was younger, yeah, I'm gonna listen to him. Like he looks all nerdy, and I understand dressing up. Like I like dressing up, I gotta look good in the suit. But he's not a dude that I would he's not a dude that I would listen to. Like he was all catty and shit. Like nah.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with Steve Urkel. Ain't
You said what?
nothing wrong with a Steve Urkel type of dude.
Kevin Samuels not Steve Urkel though.
He's not.
Nah, he's not Steve Urkel. He's like Waldo. He's more like Eddie Winslow. Like just I don't know. It's not he's not cool to me. Like I don't know. I wouldn't listen to him. Not if I was like 20 years old. None of these dudes. In fact, when I was 20, when I was like in my mid 20s, that's when I was listening to Tom Sotomayor. But I was like, I'm like kind of like he seemed like he kind of hated.
You said he hates women.
Seemed like that back then, like because back then, I said I was in my mid 20s. I was going through it with one of the chicks I was talking to, and I was like, man, I don't know about these chicks, and he was saying all the same things that I was experiencing, but like he was kind of like savage about it, But I mean, that's his experience. That's cool, but just being on this side of 30, that's not the kind of energy I want to put out. Like I think I'm one of the coolest people anybody will ever meet. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to be positive. I don't want to seem cool, but like, well, he's off-putting because he's negative. I don't want to be that. I think I'm an all-around cool dude. Like, I don't know. That's just my ego, but hey, it is what it is. So, anyways, well, how long we been on? We started what time we started? Like at 5:30?
Like 6. We've been on for like 2 hours and 10 minutes, roughly.
Yeah. Well, since you don't have any questions, does anybody in the audience have any questions for us? Going twice. So we're gonna talk about Putin next week, right?
If you want to, or if not, we'll chop it up about something else if you like. It's up to you.
All right. Let's talk about. You know what we're gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about our non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables?
Yeah, our non-negotiables.
For who?
For just anything. Like one of my non-negotiables is a sleeve on both arms.
A sleeve?
Yeah.
Oh.
A tattoo.
Okay.
Like those tattoos. Like I don't have any tattoos, and
neither do I. I don't have any tattoos.
I just think that whole tattoo thing is just it's just not my cup of tea. But having a sleeve and a leg sleeve, like nah, like that's I can't like no. There's nothing else to talk about after that. That's just one of my non-negotiables. But
if you want to talk about that, and if whenever you get a chance, if you have time to watch the Putin and Tucker Carlson video,
okay. So, all right.
That video is just as long as this live.
Yeah. But I mean, we're fun though. We're fun. I was just kidding about earlier, but I think y'all will make the cutest couple. Let me hush. I'm sorry, y'all don't delete me. Well, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. It be like that. You know, you got two attractive, well, two attractive, one intelligent person, and I'm not the intelligent person, so I don't like to call myself intelligent. So
Why not?
I don't want to be that smart guy. I don't want to be the smart guy.
So would you call yourself a man of knowledge?
I'm knowledgeable about certain things, but when people think you're smart, they expect things out of you that you can't always deliver, and then they expect you to just be like, you know, when like if I dance, they be like, oh, he's dancing, I'm like, shit, like I'm not Poindexter, you know what I'm saying? Like,
ask you to go on the floor and spit on your head and everything, right?
yeah, they just, I don't know, everybody just, like people I grew up with, they just expect me to like do smart stuff, and I don't. And that's not even me. Like I have a sense of humor. Like I'm very I don't know. I just I just I just like people. You know, I like to joke around. I like to enjoy myself. So yeah, I don't want to be the smart guy. I'll let you be the smart person.
Oh,
if we ever yeah. All right, y'all. Well,
it's been real.
Yep.
Thank you all for tuning in.
All right. We'll see y'all later.